Hello, my name is Darren, your digital presenter for today's event. Before we dive into the exciting and informative content we've prepared for you, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm actually an artificial intelligence, AI, designed and programmed to assist with sharing valuable knowledge and resources. I'm here to provide evidence-based, up-to-date information and guidance, and will be sharing real stories from my colleagues at FND. Here at FND, we value honesty and transparency in all our interactions. We at the Family Network on Disabilities believe that the incredible advancements in technology, such as AI, can significantly enhance our ability to provide families with the resources, support, and information they need. All the information shared in this training comes from the dedicated team of experts at FND, who have years of experience, rich understanding, and most importantly, a deep passion for supporting families just like yours. Family Network on Disabilities began in 1985 by a group of parents of children with disabilities who came together looking for mutual support. FND as a grassroots organization for persons with disabilities and their families that is family-centered and family-driven. What makes FND unique is that the majority of our board members, our management staff and program staff are either individuals with experience with a disability or have family members with a disability, which gives us the perspective of empathy and compassion for the work that we do. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about Family Network on Disabilities. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping families across the state. We're funded in part by the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Health through the Health Resources Services Administration. We use all that funding to provide information, resources, and support and training to families, educators, professionals, and providers throughout the state. We do not charge for our services. At this time, we would like to make a disclaimer that we at FND are not attorneys, doctors, or mental health professionals. We do not offer legal or medical advice in our workshops. We are happy to support you with information, resources, and support. We use research-based information in our training and materials. Today, I'll embark on the initial segment of a series known as Beginning the Journey. In this part, we'll explore the early stages of our children's lives, specifically focusing on the experience of receiving a disability diagnosis before they turn 3 years old. So let's get started. Today, our main focus will be on the 3 parts encompassing the beginning, the journey of IDEA, which stands for the Individuals with Disabilities Act. IDEA comprises 4 parts, namely A, B, C, and D. As for our funding, it originates from Part D of IDEA, while Part C outlines the rights of children aged from birth to 3 years old. Specifically, we will delve into the concept of early intervention services, discussing early steps, which serves as our early intervention provider in the state of Florida. Additionally, we'll explore the procedural safeguards that you, as a family, are entitled to. These safeguards ensure that you have the right to be informed and aware of all the proceedings related to your child's situation. Our initial inquiry revolves around the concept of early intervention. Early intervention refers to the services extended to eligible infants and toddlers between birth and 36 months who experience significant delays or possess conditions likely to lead to developmental delays. The primary aim of early intervention is to provide support to families and caregivers, empowering them to foster their child's learning and growth effectively. As parents, whether our child is born with or without a disability, there is no instruction manual for raising a child. It's not like we return from the hospital with a guidebook on how to navigate parenthood. This holds particularly true for children who have disabilities that are identifiable from a very young age. Why is early intervention of utmost significance? Let me share a quote from Shonkoff and Phillips. During the first 3 years of life, the brain undergoes dramatic development as a child acquires the ability to think, speak, learn, and reason. This statement emphasizes that early intervention plays a vital role in nurturing our children during their formative years. By engaging in proactive efforts with our young ones, we increase the likelihood of bridging potential gaps resulting from developmental delays in the future. The 0 to 3 website further informs us that a child's brain experiences an astonishing period of growth from birth to 3, forming over 1 million neural connections each second. We've all heard the importance of reading and talking to our children, with some even beginning this interaction while the child is still in the womb. This underscores the continuation of these practices through early intervention efforts. What are the key areas of development for a child? There are 5 fundamental areas of development that we observe in children. The first area is cognitive development, involving learning and growth in the frontal part of the brain. The second area pertains to physical development, which often involves reaching milestones such as sitting up and turning over. Thirdly, communicational development, as significant, encompassing the emergence of a child's first words and their ability to string words together to communicate effectively. The fourth area is social-emotional development, a continual process that extends well into the early 20s when an individual's brain reaches full maturity. Lastly, there is adaptive development, which revolves around how your child copes with various situations, thinks on their feet, demonstrates resilience, and navigates their environment. These 5 areas constitute the crucial aspects of child development. A child may qualify for early intervention services, which in Florida are provided through Early Steps. This eligibility is determined if the child has a developmental delay, is at risk of a developmental delay, or if they have a physical or mental condition. Certain disabilities like Down syndrome, spina bifida, cerebral palsy, Williams syndrome, and others are usually identifiable right after birth, and doctors can make referrals to Early Steps accordingly. However, there are cases where a child may have potential risks or slight delays that are not immediately evident. People might attribute such delays to normal variations between boys' and girls' development, but it's essential to consult a pediatrician and assess whether the child is meeting their developmental milestones appropriately. If the child is younger than 36 months and there are concerns, the pediatrician can refer the family to an Early Steps provider to address these issues. Today's workshop aims to provide information and guidance on these matters. Let's discuss how early intervention services are funded. As mentioned earlier, the Individuals with Disabilities Act (IDEA) comprises 4 parts, with Part C specifically addressing the age range from birth through 36 months. This is where the funding originates to support the Early Steps programs that provide essential early intervention services. In Florida, as emphasized multiple times, the approach to early intervention is centered around families and executed through a team-based approach. This team works in close collaboration with you and provides support in your natural environment. This aspect often surprises families when they transition out of Early Steps and, if suitable, opt for pre-K ESE services when their child turns 3. At that point, all services and interventions occur within an educational or preschool setting. However, before that transition, the focus remains on the child's natural environment, which can include their home, the park, the grocery store, or even grandma's house, if she is a co-caregiver. In these settings, the family receives necessary support, including educating grandparents about the child's delays and interventions. The primary goal is to meet families where they are, both in terms of their physical location and their learning and playing environments. The objective is to create appropriate learning opportunities during playtime, which is a vital aspect of early childhood development. Who can initiate a referral to Early Steps, and what are the associated costs? The primary source of referrals often comes from pediatricians. During the routine checkups after childbirth, 1 week, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, and 9 month milestones, they assess whether the child is meeting developmental markers. However, referrals can also originate from various other individuals. For instance, your child care center may raise concerns if they notice any developmental delays in your child. Friends who have experienced the program may also suggest it. It's essential to know that making a referral is entirely voluntary and there are no charges involved. Regardless of income, anyone can access Early Steps services without any cost. There are no income limitations. It doesn't matter if a family earns $150,000 a year or $15,000 a year. The crucial factor for eligibility is whether the child has a delay or is at risk, making them eligible for Early Steps support. What is the process like when entering the Early Steps system? Let's explore the steps involved. The first step is to receive a referral, which serves as the initial contact. A representative from Early Steps will reach out to you to conduct a brief intake and gather necessary information. After the initial contact, you will schedule an evaluation assessment and what they call an IFSP, Individualized Family Service Plan, meeting. The evaluation is aimed at assessing your child's developmental needs and creating a plan tailored to their requirements. Regarding the initial contact, Early Steps will make 3 attempts to reach you by phone. If they are unable to connect with you after 3 tries, they will consider their obligation fulfilled. However, if you decide later on to revisit the process and initiate the first contact phase again, you have the flexibility to do so. For face-to-face meetings, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many regions have transitioned to virtual platforms like Zoom, Google Meets, Teams, and others. These platforms allow for virtual meetings on various devices like phones, tablets, and laptops. Please note that the evaluation phase might differ depending on the precautionary measures implemented in each county due to the pandemic. To get accurate and up-to-date information on meetings, it's essential to check with your specific county or visit the Early Steps website. Regarding the initial assessment, it is crucial to know that it will be conducted by a multidisciplinary team comprising highly qualified personnel. Their objective is to determine your child's eligibility for Early Steps services. This team may include specialists such as an occupational therapist, an infant mental health psychologist, or other professionals depending on the specific needs of your child. For example, an occupational therapist may assess movement, while an infant mental health psychologist may evaluate behavioral aspects. It is essential for you to understand that you have the right to receive the evaluations and interpretations of the assessments in a language that you can comprehend. This ensures that you are fully informed and involved in the decision-making process concerning your child's development and the services they may need. The primary goal of the assessment is to identify your child's individual strengths and needs, while also evaluating the existing and potential resources available to your family. The purpose is to explore the various support options that can be utilized simultaneously. For instance, Early Steps might be just one part of the support system, and you may decide to include private occupational therapy in conjunction with it. Similarly, if your child is closer to 36 months and facing eating issues, you might seek assistance from organizations specializing in feeding therapy. Ultimately, the assessment aims to enhance your family's capacity to care for your child and minimize delays as effectively as possible. By understanding your child's unique requirements and available resources, the assessment helps identify strategies and interventions to support their development optimally. In the Individualized Family Support Plan, or IFSP process, a wide range of information is gathered, including demographic and family details, health history, genetic factors, and insurance information. Developmental screenings are also conducted. During the meeting, you will coordinate the services your child requires based on the assessment and eligibility discussed in the previous slide. The outcome of the IFSP will involve establishing specific goals and strategies to aid your child's development. The services recommended will be tailored to help achieve these goals effectively. Before your child turns 36 months or reaches their 3rd birthday, there will be a discussion about transitioning them out of the Early Steps services. This transition could involve either discontinuing services altogether or helping them move into Part B, which is the public school system catering to children from 3 to 12th grade and up to age 22 in Florida, while IDEA extends up to age 26. This process might seem overwhelming, and it's completely understandable to feel that way. Many individuals may be involved in supporting and assisting you during this journey, and it's essential to know who these people are. You will have a service coordinator, often referred to as a PSC, to guide you through the process. An infant-toddler developmental specialist, ITDS, will also be a part of the team. Getting acquainted with the acronyms early on is valuable, and we have a helpful resource on our Facebook page, a 2-pager called The Alphabet Soup of Special Education, which explains the meanings of various acronyms. Additionally, a family resource specialist will be available to support you. Depending on your child's needs, a speech and language pathologist may be involved in enhancing language development and initiation. Furthermore, there might be physical therapists or occupational therapists involved, depending on your child's specific requirements. The team of professionals is there to work together, providing comprehensive support to your child and family. Early intervention is most effective when conducted in the child's natural environment. Inclusion starts at home, emphasizing the significance of incorporating supportive measures right from infancy. While some children with significant delays might benefit from an educational setting, like a separate self-contained class or school, inclusion from an early age is essential. By promoting inclusion during the first few years of life, children with disabilities and their families become more accustomed to participating in regular life experiences. This exposure to typical everyday activities is crucial for the child's development and the family's adaptation. It's important to recognize that disability is a normal part of human diversity. Approximately 10% of the world's population has a disability, and the range of disabilities is vast. The term disability should not be viewed negatively, as it simply represents one aspect of human variation. Embracing and acknowledging disability as a normal part of life fosters an inclusive and compassionate world. Every year, you can expect to undergo an annual review of your child's development, covering all the domains we previously discussed. This review involves examining existing evaluations, assessments, and notes from the team that has been supporting your child. During the review, the team will assess whether your child has achieved their goals and milestones. Based on this assessment, they will determine whether your child will be dismissed from early intervention or if further support is required. It's crucial for you to be aware that this formal assessment will take place at least once a year to monitor your child's progress and make informed decisions about their ongoing intervention. We discussed procedural safeguards earlier in this workshop, and while they are crucial, they can also be quite technical and dry. However, at FND, we've made it our mission to simplify and make this information more accessible to parents. On our website, www.fndusa.org, under the Resources page, you can find a section called ESE Downloadable Resources. It offers over 30 sections to explore, including information on Part C and procedural safeguards, presented in a parent-friendly format without compromising the essential legal details. You, as a parent, have certain rights that must be protected. These include confidentiality, as your medical information shared with Early Steps requires explicit permission for disclosure to other providers. You have the right to review your child's records at any time. Prior written notice is essential, as Early Steps should invite you to meetings, providing details of results and information in your native language. Parental consent is vital during evaluations and assessments, and you must be an active participant, fully aware of the process and the actions being taken. If the child is a ward of the state, a surrogate parent, appointed by the overseeing judge, assumes the same rights and responsibilities as the birth parent to ensure the child receives the necessary early intervention services through Early Steps. In case of disagreement with your team, there are procedures for mediation, complaint resolution, and due process hearings. Collaboration and communication are highly encouraged, and if you need assistance in effectively communicating with your Early Steps team, please reach out to us. Our office can connect you to an appropriate parent trainer in your region if you call the toll-free number that will be provided at the end of this video. Here you can see our FND family. These are the programs housed under the Family Network on Disabilities. Each program provides a unique service to a specific population. There are 3 PTI programs funded by the U.S. Department of Education through the Office of Special Education Programs. POPIN serves North Florida. PSN serves Southwest Florida. And PEN serves Southeast Florida. The Family Star program, funded by the U.S. Department of Health under the Health Resources Services Administration, and supports families of youth with special health care needs. FND also has a Special Needs Trust, where we provide families with information regarding creating and supporting a Special Needs Trust. We also do programming specific to fathers raising children with disabilities. Here you can see links for multiple downloadable resources available in various languages. You can also see some of our social media platforms. We have various pages on Facebook addressing the needs of different populations and our programs. I invite you to check out our website at www.fndusa.org for the hundreds of pages of resources and invaluable information that you can access and download at no charge. You can reach us to help you and your family by giving us a call at 800-825-5736 and letting us know your needs. You'll be assigned to a staff person who can support you. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Visit our website for valuable resources and more information. We want to thank you for spending this time with us during this presentation. We look forward to hearing from you.